Well, most of us are hoping that the situation in Iran does not get any worse. Some people, they're just hoping they place the right bets. Right? Because as US forces were searching for the pilots downed in Iran, Polymarket was allowing users to bet on their fate until it was called out by a member of Congress. You had Representative Seth Moulton, who's a US Marine Corps veteran who served in Iraq, posting a screenshot of the market and writing on Twitter. There is an ongoing search and rescue operation for a missing American service member whose plane was shot down over Iran. Their safety is unknown. They could be your neighbor, a friend, a family member, and people are betting on whether or not they'll be saved. This is disgusting. With him then also going on to note that Donald Trump Jr. is an investor in Polymarket, which he described as a dystopian death market, and added that the president's son may have access to intelligence that isn't public yet. And then with this, a few hours later, you saw Polymarket replying to that post saying, "We took this market down immediately as it does not meet our integrity standards. It should not have been posted, and we are investigating how this slipped through our internal safeguards." We then had Moulton hitting back, telling the platform that its integrity standards are severely lacking, and noting that users are still able to place bets on the lives of our troops, and flagging well over 200 active bets in Polymarket's war category. And then you also had him claim in an email to CNBC, Polymarket didn't take that market down because it violated their standards. They took it down because we called them out. With him then going on to accuse the Trump administration of failing to act, noting that the Commodity Futures Trading Commission has the authority to regulate prediction market platforms, but claiming that the agency is doing almost nothing. And to that point, this actually isn't the first time that the CFTC has been called out for failing to regulate prediction markets that allow users to profit off of death. Back in February, before the Iran war even started, you had a group of senators writing a letter to the agency urging it to, quote, clearly reiterate that the CFTC will categorically prohibit any contract that resolves upon or closely correlates to an individual's death, with the lawmakers noting that these contracts are actually banned under the Federal Commodity Exchange Act, and arguing these contracts further risk incentivizing real-world harm by creating financial rewards linked to destabilizing events or physical injury, and by encouraging actors to influence or precipitate those outcomes for personal profit. And adding, as a result, these markets present dangerous national security risks. But of course, Trump's CFTC hasn't done that. And not only has the agency failed to enforce any kind of meaningful regulation, it is actively trying to prevent states from taking matters into their own hands. Just last week, Trump's CFTC filed lawsuits against Arizona, Connecticut, and Illinois over attempts by lawmakers there to close the gaping regulatory hole that the federal government's left wide open. And those suits claim that the CFTC alone has the authority to oversee event contracts through the Commodity Exchange Act. But then at the same time, you have the agency refusing to heed demands from federal lawmakers to actually enforce that law. And while some members of Congress have proposed new additional regulations, it's unclear if they're ever going to pass, especially given how deeply connected Trump's own family is to prediction markets.